So I'm now at my new location for now. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are a regular visitor to my channel, welcome back. Welcome to the new space. Some of you may know because I keep mentioning it constantly in my videos that I am moving. I am now officially moved. So let me get into the point of this video, which is that I now have no books and no bookshelves, at least none that I own. So, what I decided to do was a summer long series that I'm going to call No Shelves, No Books, No Problems. And during this time, I'm just going to be experimenting with how to read books when you don't own any. Because that's going to be my situation for anywhere from 2 to 6 months. My books are going to be in storage, and I'm going to have to figure out how to keep reading. So I have a couple of different strategies that I'm going to be using over the next couple of weeks and months. And they're going to look like anything from trying to use different resources to get books for free, to making the best of what space I do have, to maybe even buying a few books. But I will admit that the thing I'm most loath to do is to buy books and buy them new right now. And the reason being that, like I said, I'm going to be in temporary housing for a couple of months. And the last thing that I want when I finally move into permanent housing is to have to lug a ton of books with me. So I'm really going to be trying to keep my own book selection down to a minimum. And today I'm going to be talking about how I'm going to do that and the amount of space that I am going to give myself. So, for starters, I'll just show you what I have set as my limit for books, and that is this very uninteresting, what we call here a banker's box. And I don't know the dimensions of this box, but it's a decent size. It has handles. I've filled it to the brim or close to the brim with books, and it's still very easy to carry. I have carried like small book boxes that you can get from like U-Haul and places like that, and I can say this box is holds and fits fewer books than that. I would say probably less than 50 pounds worth of books for sure. And I chose this size, and I'll put the dimensions on the screen. But I chose this size box for a couple of reasons. One, it was something that I knew even full of books, I would be able to pick up and carry all on my own. And then the other reason that I chose it was because of the handles. It also has a lid that goes on it that fits really nicely. And because that I knew it would generally be holding less than 50 pounds of books, I also knew that if I ever needed to ship all of my books, I could do that all at one time in media mail and just get a shipping box for that and not even have to weigh the books. So that is the, I don't know, hopefully simple explanation as to how I am storing my books and about the amount of space that I've given myself. And speaking of books, let me show you what I have decided to bring with me and what this book box will be holding. Okay, so let me start with the first two books in the box, and these were pretty simple to figure out. They were basically the two books that I am currently reading. So these were two books that were unfinished by the time I had to move out of my house, and I knew they would be, and so I knew I had to make room for them, and I was totally fine doing that. One of the books is The Mysteries of Paris. This is a book that I am buddy reading with Storm, and we are buddy reading this for months. So I had no problem taking this with me, even though it obviously would take up a decent amount of room in the box. It's also going to provide a lot of reading time for me, so I was happy to bring it. The other book that I'm bringing is also a really large book, but was one that I started just before moving, and it's a book that I have been wanting to read for a couple of years. So there was no way that I was moving without it. And that was something that hit me just a few weeks before I had to start packing. And that book is Drood by Dan Simmons. This has been a book project that I have been working on for quite a while, or really, I've been reading books so that I could get to this book as part of a book project. And I finally started it probably about a week before I moved. And that was intentional. I realized that if in June I made the effort, I could finish the last book that I wanted to read before starting this one, and then actually be able to move with this. The next handful of books that I have are all books that are part of other book projects that are either ongoing or coming up. And I knew were books that I didn't want to put off for up to 6 months, or that I was worried if something happened and our stuff needed to stay in storage even longer, were books that I would, be kicking myself that I didn't have by the end of the year. And so the first book is Our Mutual Friend by Charles Dickens. This was one that recently occurred to me to keep, and it's because it actually comes up a lot in Drood. Yeah. So the other books that I brought are all reading project related. I'm not going to necessarily go into all of the reading projects. Some of them are coming up much later this year, and so you'll hear about them as they come to fruition, but here's the books. I brought Nicholas Nickleby. This is also another book by Charles Dickens. The Phantom Tollbooth by Norton Juster. The Pillow Book by Shonagon, and Ladies of the Club. In the Matter of Nat Turner by Chrisopher Tomlins. George's, which is a more recent purchase. This is by Alexandre Dumas. And The Tale of the Bamboo Cutter. But wait, there's more. Like I said, this box can actually fit a lot more books than it seems like. Initially, I was going to pick a mix of authors that I loved and books that I had really been anticipating reading, as well as a combination of new to me books that I was really anticipating reading. But one of the things that I realized was I didn't want to pick a whole bunch of books that I would be tempted to keep. I wanted to pick some books, not necessarily that were at risk of being unhauled or that I thought were like two-star reads, but I know myself pretty well at this point as a reader, and I know that there's certain genres and types of books that I will really enjoy and that I've purchased because I know I will enjoy them. But there are also books that tend to fall into categories that I just don't tend to hold on to. That is what this whole entire next stack of books are going to be. They're all the books that I think I will enjoy reading, but am willing to unhaul if need be. An Instance of the Fingerpost by Iain Pears. Ride the Wind by Lucia St. Clair Robson. A Novel Bookstore by Laurence Cosse. Tender is the Flesh by Agustina Bazterrica. And I apologize for horrible pronunciation of these names. The White Tiger by Aravind Adiga. The Woman in Me by Brittany Spears. The 13 and a Half Lives of Captain Bluebear by Walter Moores. The Revisionaries by A.R. Moxon. And maybe a controversial one, Strange the Dreamer by Lonnie Taylor. So that's it for today. I just wanted to come on and share what I am going to be doing while I'm moving. These are some of the books that I'm going to have available to me at all times in my little box. But there will be lots of other resources for books that I will be exploring. For the next couple of weeks, I will be in this one location and I will still have access to my local library. So I plan on doing a library haul and making great use of that while I can. Even while I'm traveling, I will still have digital access to my library. I will be trying to get access to the library where I'm moving to, but I'm not sure how possible that's going to be. And I will talk about that as that comes up. And I will also be looking at little free libraries, thrift stores, and any other resource that I can think of, like Project Gutenberg, to get free or very inexpensive new to me books, books that I want to read, whether that's physical copies, which are my favorite, but I'll also be trying and playing around with audio resources as well as e-read sources. So if you have any suggestions or would like to see me do a book haul from any type of free book source that you know of, let me know and I'll be more than happy to try and fit that in and try it out. But my main goal while doing this is to sort of experiment with how easy is it to read books if you don't own any, or if you own just a limited selection of them. And yeah, I want to share that information with you guys. So as I go through these different resources and try them out, I will be ranking them all. And I will talk about that ranking system as it comes up. My hope is that at the end of all of this, I'll be able to share with you guys everything that I have learned about how to read books when you don't own any. So that's all I can think of for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.